Hey everybody, what's going on? Kind of got a few members a little worried here. It's okay. It's okay. It's all gonna be okay. We might be topping out in the market though. We came up to that 5150 that I've been looking for a couple minutes at least, maybe a day or two. And welcome, welcome to the show. Mark, Ed, Jason, Don, Thomas, John, Ed, Chris, Lynn, Carson, Indy, Carlene, Francois, Tara, Mary, Jaquise, Kimberly, my lovely wife. Now, if you want to chat with me like all these fine folks, click the link right over here. Right down over here, right over there. The green subscribe button. Click that, and a few seconds later, you can be chatting on the stream with me. Hey, Ken. Glad to have you. And this is live. We're going to do at least 30 minutes of awesome market analysis, and we're going to talk about some different things. So, Jerome Powell on tap to testify for the next 2 days in front of the House and then the Senate. Some of the financial whatever committees, whatever, going to be testifying for the next 2 days. We have jobs report coming up on Friday, and the jobs don't matter. Let's be honest. It'll probably be a market mover, but they don't really matter. As far as trading goes, the market may react, but big picture, it doesn't even matter. That's when you can set yourself free from the news, you're going to do way better. Way better. It's difficult to do. But if you can wrap your head around it, that the numbers don't matter, the earnings don't matter, there's almost nothing actually matters news-wise. Sets you free. And that's what I sit here and do every single day, is try to just cut the news crap and just focus on the chart. While I do talk about stories and reasons, it's because we as humans love stories and reasons. I mean, that's why you're here. You love to hear me talk. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss, though. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. Just because I got it right in the past doesn't mean I'll ever get another one right in the future. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, and entertaining. It is not a recommendation to buy or to sell anything. Don't buy options. Don't buy stocks. Don't buy options. Don't buy forex. Don't buy futures. Don't buy cryptos. Don't buy bonds. Don't buy treasuries. Don't long them. Don't short them. Don't trade them. Don't buy stuff from gurus. Don't buy stuff from me. If you don't trust me, make sure you trust people that you're working with. If you watch some fancy presentation and you bought something from somebody, make sure you trust them, or use the refund policy to get your money back. Make sure you trust the person. I mean, most people out there are just trying to make some of your money, some of their money. I mean, that's the whole game, right? No matter what you do, whether you're hiring somebody to do a roof, paint a car, paint the house, paint the car, mow your lawn, they're just trying to make some of your money into some of their money. And if you desire personal financial advice on how to do all this stuff, hire and consult a financial advisor. But again, make sure that you trust them, because they're out there just to try to make some of your money, some of their money. All right. On the calendar. So we've got Jerome Powell testifying the next 2 days. Right there. We've got the semi-annual monetary policy report due to the House Financial Services Committee in Washington, D.C. That'll be coming up tomorrow, March 6th. And then on March 7th, you're like, hey, JT, where the heck did you get this cool freaking calendar thing that lists all these events? It's forexfactory.com. Click on the calendar button right here, and you get this cool calendar. I mean, I think it's cool. Lists all the fun, interesting economic news worldwide that potentially moves the Forex markets and the financial markets. Then we have on Thursday, Jerome Powell testifying the semi-annual monetary policy report before the Senate Banking Committee right there on Thursday. Then, as I stated, the jobs report coming up on Friday right here. Non-farm employment change, unemployment rate, average hourly earnings, all that fun stuff that tends to make the market get a little sparky, at least for a few minutes. We'll see what happens on Friday. Now, what do I think Powell's going to say? A bunch of crap that he's already said, and maybe maybe get a little more hawkish on those rates, that we're not going to cut them, We're going to keep them high, and the market may not like that. May not like it one bit. So be careful out there. Alrighty. Everybody cool? Everybody good with those? Now, we usually hit a few highlights, but I want to start here. You remember this ES reversal from a few weeks back? Let's go back to February 21st, 2024. You know, maybe you don't remember. That was a whole, we like to have short-term memory as traders. That was a whole almost 2 weeks ago, right there, 21st, right? We had a big sell-off going. We were coming down, and all of a sudden, JT got a little bit bullish. Well, look what we had. 5-minute chart. We were riding the roadmap line on a 5-minute chart. And then we kind of did this dip and a rejection and then a blast off. That was 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, into the close. And we didn't look back. Now, fast forward to today. A little bit different story. We didn't bust through the roadmap line. Same 5-minute chart. Here's today. We didn't have a big red reversal candle. We did have a bullish engulfing candle, and we stalled out right here in this prior consolidation. We didn't go ripping through. This little reversal into the close looked like kind of maybe a short stop out, but we didn't get a whole lot of continuation. Now, that was up almost 30 points into the close, but it was not a huge move when we look at where we've come down from. Now, what are the important levels to watch? Let's jump up just a little bit. And we draw a fib line. 2-point tool. 1 point here. 1 point here. And we look at the important level to watch is going to be right there when we consolidated. Right in here. Right there. So right at that 51.21, 51.30 area, 51.20, 51.30, right in that area. If we go breaking through that, we're probably going cruising on up. In fact, I'll set an alert right there at 51.30. If we glance off of that and come on down, the next move down, likely to be the same size as this move down at the minimum. That could be taking us on down, and we may spend all overnight consolidating sideways. The market is closed until 6 p.m. Once 6 p.m. rolls around, we'll reopen. May consolidate overnight, open up tomorrow, and depending on where we get to, if we rally up overnight or if we just fart around down here, we could pop tomorrow. But then we may get the next leg down. Why that? Why do I say that? This is ambiguous. It doesn't really have much, no real retraces, no real subwaves. It was just a drop, pause overnight, and a drop. No real clear anything. I'm cautious that we may bust through this and go on higher, or we may glance off of this and go on lower. That lower at this point took us down to almost 5,000. Now, could this be the start of something bigger to the downside? Absolutely it could. We tagged that, as I mentioned this morning, we tagged that 51.49.67. I've been looking for 51.50 for a long time. Missing it by 33 cents doesn't really hurt my feelings. I get things wrong. For all the effort I go into putting in, calling a 51.50 price in the market, couldn't even be bothered to actually hit 51.50. We had to miss it by 33 cents. So even I get them wrong. There you go. All right. So, IPOs are bearish. The lockup expires. Maybe you see more selling. ARM, my chart on ARM hasn't changed in days. I still have dropping back down. I don't think it's going to be bullish. All right. That's the S&P right there. And you can see we haven't really had any kind of pullback since we bottomed back in October. In fact, we've had something like 87 trading days without a 2% pullback. 87 trading days now off of that low without pulling back 2% or more. This is getting unusual, Unusual. We're in that top. We're back in that top 95% of the time. You remember back here, if anybody been hanging out with me very long, I was talking about this same exact lack of a pullback here in July. And what did we do? We went on a 3-month bender lower. Everybody thought we were going to crash and we are going to have Black Monday and blah, 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 blah. And then we shoot higher and do another one of these crazy freaking rips. Be careful out there, all right? This is not the stuff of continuation higher at the moment. Now, it could be that it's just another one of these little 1 or 2 day blips, and then we go higher again. But be careful. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Please, all right? Please be careful. This is a big warning to me. Big indicator warning light right here. As we have ground higher in the S&P, making all-time highs, the S5FI, which is stocks above their 50-day moving average, has been declining ever since the beginning of January here. Been declining, 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 declining. Yet, S&P grinds higher, all-time highs, as we are farting around right here. This is highly likely to go down here. Every time, virtually every time that we bust out of the top above 80%, we go at least retest the bottom at 20%. This looks a lot like right over here where we did that. Please be careful. This thing highly likely to roll again. All right. Sometimes it takes a little while. Sometimes we get some chop and chop and chop, but eventually we end up down there again. Any questions? Moving on. Moving on. All right. Stocks above their 200-day moving average. This is another concerning. Look at this. We haven't been above 80 on this whole rally. Look at this. This low down here, 22 low, where the market was really bottomed out. We came off of that high, way extended high. In fact, the market actually topped right there, the prior all-time high, January 3rd or 4th, whatever it was, 2022. Look at that. We came off of that high. Way back there was the actual high of stocks above their 200-day moving average, where 97% were above then we narrowed the breadth and sucked it down, and then the S&P topped out, made its all-time high that stood until just recently, and then we plummeted out the bottom. We topped out right back here in January, and we've been churning somewhat lower on stock S&P 500 stocks above their 200-day moving average. This has got me concerned. I'm not going to fluff it or sugarcoat it. Like, these are warning lights that there is a potential for a big downward correction where this revisits the bottom, and certainly this revisits the bottom. And likely this gets a 2% correction, 3% correction, 5% correction. Can definitely be on the cards. Now, other alternatives, we pop up here. NVIDIA becomes the largest company in the world and takes the S&P right up here with it. Entirely possible. Does it make sense? Absolutely not. If we do that, is it probably going to do something pretty horrible after we do that? Yeah, probably. I would love to see a correction now, flush out some weak hands, possibly go revisit the roadmap line. I mean, 5% down would not even be that far right now. Talking 4,900, 10% down, a little worse, 4,600. It's right back to the roadmap line. Be a heck of a move. We're way extended. Way extended. I'm just throwing it out there. That right there. Look, we're more than 10% above the roadmap line. That's pretty extended for the for the S&P. What were we right back here? Right there. We got up to only 9.6% extended and then went on a 3-month correction. So we're more extended high above the roadmap line than we were back here in July. Be careful out there. A reversal could be brewing. I think it is. Whether we reverse now or we reverse from slightly higher levels, we have a few potential squiggles left to the upside. Few little, few more we could do. It's getting to be fully cooked though. I mean, a 52-point down day. That's some. We're starting to see some red candles in there. We went on that one of the longest up periods back here we had seen. It was just crazy, especially on the weekly chart. Look at this. Look how many weekly green candles that was. That's records. We haven't done a move like this since the 1970s with that many green candles in a row with only one red in there. Things are getting rare, and we may see a bigger flush. Please be careful out there. All right? Please, please, please. Watch your count. Have your levels. Know when you're going to liquidate. This thing's starting to be unstable. We may see a bigger flush. And that's the biggest red candle we've had on this chart in a while for Nasdaq. And where are all the top companies? The Magnificent Seven, all sitting in the Nasdaq. Those Magnificent Seven representing some ridiculous trillions of dollars. Like $15 trillion, I think it is. $15 trillion of market cap. That's bigger than 4 of the largest countries in the world. Only the US and China and I think Russia are bigger. It's just crazy to think that 7 companies are bigger than most of those countries out there. Bigger than Germany, bigger than the UK, it's just ridiculous. RTY, that could be topping. Be careful. Oil. Man, right back down the road. That did nothing today. That's exactly the candle this morning. Just sat there doing nothing all day. If we break above this, if we break up again, if this is the bounce and we go up and we break here and we're going up here, 82, 86, 92, or 90 are the upside targets there. GC breaking out. Looks like we're going to get a confirmation breakout if we can push above that high, that 250 high from back in November, December, right around the flip of November, December. We can get above that. It's game on. We can go big up. 22 would be small potatoes at this point. We could see a bigger, much, much bigger up potential on gold. It's sitting there. It's in the chart. We'd be 2,200 looking definitely like a target, but we could see a much larger move. 3,000, 5,000 could be in the cards. This has been winding up for a number of years here. This breakout could be pretty epic. All right. Now we can see this accelerate on up. Historically, gold has represented 5% of global assets, just historically, in value of currency. Right now, only like 0.6%, 0.6%. So potentially 10 times undervalued. That could be a big move. Be careful out there. Bitcoin being crazy, definitely crazy volatility. Don't you love Bitcoin? Oh my goodness. Gotta love the volatility. I certainly am entertained. We popped pretty much a higher high. Let's see, the high right there. Yeah, high on futures, 70,000. That is a new all-time high. The certain spot markets showed an all-time high. Certain ones did not. The high right back over here, 69.6, 69, 69.355, 67. So that was a higher high on the futures for Bitcoin. And we had a large negative reaction. Imagine that. Imagine that. Human psychology 101 right there. Spike and flush. Found support at the 1 hour and started bouncing a little bit. Beautiful potential, but this may be wave 1. We may get a 618 retrace. The level to watch. That high, that low, coming in right here at 66,360 on the futures. Why am I using the futures? Just because it is a centralized controlled price. If you go look at the spots, you have to look at every different spot individually. All right? If you don't understand that, you need to go spend some time researching how crypto markets work. Every single broker is independent of every other broker. So I use futures price because it's somewhat a centralized controlled price. And a break above this level, probably indicating we're going on higher. Next higher up, probably somewhere around the 72.9 area up here, 72,900. If we turn down right there, the move down could be this big once again. That would come on, grab the line right off of here. Could take us down to 56,000 area right down in here. So there you go. There's the upside potential and the downside, and it all kind of hinges on what happens right here as we rally back up. If we don't get that high, still likely to come down here. All right. That was like a 10,000 point range today. That was pretty wild. Pretty wild. Very spicy. Yeah, look at almost 10,000 exactly. Caliente. Hot, hot, hot. So there you go. Probably expect more of this as we continue. Now, we do still have spot ETF buying occurring. So this big flush gives opportunity for more of that buying. What fun it is. And look at that. Ethereum dumped. Same pattern. Same hourly chart. Same support. Same reversal. And low to high. High to low. That zone for Ethereum comes in right here. Right around that 3650, 3660 area right there. If we get above that, probably cruising right on up to 4,000 up here. If we don't get above that, bit downside, using the 3-point tool instead of the line tool. 1, 2, 3, probably take us back down around 3,000. There you go. That's the long and the short of Ethereum. Dollar index, hanging out below the hourly roadmap line. On the daily, just churning right on the roadmap line. And if we can break below these lows from back here in January, February, probably going down to the mid-90s. It's looking like more and more looking like the bias is probably going to be flushing down on the dollar. All right. Checking out some of the other commodities. We usually look at gasoline real quick. That has popped up and has just been consolidating sideways. And kind of in this resistance zone here. Need to break above that prior high from September to get continuation higher. This may experience a retrace back to the roadmap line right there. A retest. And if we hold it, we could go higher. If we break below it, we could come back down and retest this kind of trend line of lows here. Heating oil, diesel. Actually did turn down a little bit. I was expecting a break up, but I'm sure those of you who drive diesels appreciate the fact that it actually pushed down a little lower. We actually broke through that uptrend of lows. broke down through it. That means we're likely to get an extension. One more move down. Could see a low in this zone right here. And then watch for another reversal. So diesel prices probably coming down here. That's wholesale diesel, not taxed at the pump diesel. Same on gasoline. It's wholesale diesel, wholesale gasoline, not with the taxes added to it. NG, natural gas, potentially found a bottom. We, funny enough, did exactly what I drew. Now, do we get the continuation on down? Or are we going to break higher and go back to the roadmap line right up here around 260? I don't know. Time will tell. We did see extreme volatility last year in February into March. This year, not a whole lot of that so far. We did make a low here in February, and we got our small rally into March. Could end up in just another drifty sideways market for the rest of the year. Gold, as I said, breaking higher. Looks promising for a breakout. I really want to see this get above that 2150 area, and then we can get continuation higher. Silver, on the other hand, a little less clear. A little bit less clear. Looks like we may be rejecting that head and shoulders pattern. If, in fact, we can do that, if we get it back above that, we can go on a run higher. That one probably has targets up around 36 at this point. Nice potential gain on silver. Copper still looking pretty rough. Not looking bullish. That's still lower highs. It needs a big flush. Really does. Lumber, and this chart's all messed up. Now, somebody was like, the price of everything, especially fast food, seems to keep going up. We'll look right here. We had a little small reprieve for a couple months, and then we're right back at new highs on cattle. Anything beef out there is going to be freaking expensive. This is $1.88 a pound on the hoof. You lose like 60% of a cow when you process it, between skin and fat and bones and, organ right there. So we're probably looking at $3 a pound on the futures. And then that's not even, processing it. That's like raw meat. And then you got to sell it, and usually multiply by 3 when you put it through a restaurant. So we're talking about maybe even 4. So we're at, actually that's closer to $4 a pound. Excuse me, $4 a pound. So we're talking about $12, $15 a pound by the time it goes to a restaurant, it gets on a burger. I mean, that's rough. That's rough if you're a beef eater. Pork, on the other hand, getting a little pop, but the other white meat still staying pretty reasonable price right now. 92 cents a pound. Not too bad. All right. It's going to be that time of day where I do requests. Remember, the rules for request: 1 per person. Let somebody else go, and then you can go again. If you give me multiple tickers at one time, then I'm probably going to skip your requests. All right? Please be clear if you have a question. If you're going to tell me I forgot something, please write it out in a complete sentence. Don't assume I know. I can scroll up and find your comment above. Please just tell me what you need. All right? Be clear, concise, and use English. All right, DOCU is potentially roadmap line bounce. No change. Above the lows. This is the conservative entry above 58. Looking for 68 and 74 on the upside. And we're just temporarily stalled out. That's classic roadmap bounce behavior. And FAS is potentially breaking out. I've discussed this before. It's a bigger, much bigger time frame pattern, potentially with targets all the way up here, like 1,000. Pretty crazy. Now, this is a leverage instrument. All leverage carries a significant risk of not following my patterns, but that's a nested potential measured bounce right there. Dun, 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 dun. Mora. Want to zoom this baby up. Lots of stuff I've drawn. there, right there. Lucky, lucky, lucky. I've got, apparently, I say the same things a lot and draw the same arrows. Well, I drew a big target, and it looks like we're going right for it. Retrace target right there. It's from that low in January to that high, and not that high. That high right there. That target, that 6.8 level, right there at 20. Right there is the target. We're coming down viciously. Expect it to hold. If it doesn't hold, roadmap line right below that. There you go. Simple as that. Remove some of these. Remove some of the lines. Remove some of the lines. Right there. Very clear. That low, that high. Retrace. 20. That'd be what I expect. If we get down there, we can turn and burn. That would be a measure bounce and one of the most powerful setups that I track. All right. MS. That oval, just so we were clear, that oval was not something I drew this week even. I think I drew that last week, maybe the week before. Probably, I drew it when we topped right back here. It's been there for like 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks. It just moved up slightly. We're actually at the minimum level, but it may push down to 20. Yep. Could even push a little lower. All right. Moving on. All about time frame on Mora. If you're playing short-term options, you're playing fire on Mora. Don't do that. Morgan Stanley potentially going to break out and make a bigger move. Looks like upside targets for now, 96 and 100. TSLA has a target down at 158. I actually have a buy at 158. 158, right down here at the top of the box. Here's my buy. Right there. Take a few of these things off. We finally hit that target. And so now that we've basically finished this bounce, you see 167 and right there around 158. We also have this fib line at 154 from back here. There you go. That's Tesla. Dun, 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 BAC. Potentially pushing higher. I would be very, very cautious on banking. We're coming up right into a resistance zone. See 1 top, 2 top, 3 top, 4 tops. Right there. And we're coming up right into it. Watch for a negative reaction off of that zone like we've had once, twice, 3, 4 times before. We haven't been able to come back up there since a year ago. Be careful. CHRD. Just chopping in the range. That range is set up right back there. That high. June 22, that low. In July 22. So it took a month to set that range. And we've been in it, stuck in it for the next 2 years. Ugh, don't trade that. Not a banging opportunity. Not what I would call a banging opportunity. I mean, maybe you like to trade things that were sideways like that, but that's not what I go after. PLTR, nice. Hanging out at the 1272 target there. 26 would be the extension. Then we need another retrace. If you're long, I would be careful and protect profits, book profits at the targets, and watch for a retrace. If you think it's just going on higher, good luck to you. How do I add the highway to the V? I don't understand your question there. The highway. And Riley, R-I-L-Y, is nice bounce. I have a couple hundred shares of this, maybe 100 shares of this. And right off the 1272, that right there. If you're asking about the roadmap line, that can be had in the description. It's like $5. $5, you can get that indicator on your chart. And if you're too cheap for $5, I have a YouTube video back from 2 Januaries back. And so it's like 15 months back ish. Or I give you the code, but you got to be smart enough to be able to put it in the Pine editor. If that's not something you want to do, $5. Like less than a cup of coffee. You know, it's like $9 for a cup of coffee. And I'll give you a watch list for 3 weeks or for 3 months included with that. And the opportunity to upgrade for another year of watch lists for like 20 more bucks. I mean, it's about the cheapest thing I could do to help you. Yeah, nothing spectacular on Riley. Just chopping in this range. A lot of chop. Till we get back above the roadmap line, this is still what do you call it? Tilted bearish. The extension would be down here to $2. It's like, yeah, that kind of sucks. Yeah, it does kind of sucks. TSLZ is 2x inverse. Tesla is not something I'm going to cover. It's inverse and nasty. And we're not going to look at it. Leveraged instruments. Don't mess with them. PANW is potentially bounce. That's the same pattern. Same exact pattern. What was the one I started out with? DocU. Same pattern as DocU. It's just a bigger potential move here. Now, if we break down below the roadmap line, support down here on PANW, it's where we consolidated for, gosh, a long freaking time. June through November of last year. Could go revisit that. But looks a lot like DocU. Pop up and the retrace. Yeah, pop up and the retrace. Very similar. Very common pattern we see. And TSDD. As a short, forget it. And CRWD. Give me the underlying. You know, if you want to know one of these short leverage things, just give me the underlying. Otherwise, forget it. Crowd, probably going to retrace down to here. I debated buying a short on that. Oh, popped. Ha. I debated whether I wanted to mess with that. Looks like we're popped right up to the targets. Beautiful. Looks like we're going to be right up to the 18618. I thought so. I was like, wait, this has earnings today. Yep. And there's the pop. The options were absolutely ridiculous. Even for this Friday, were absolutely ridiculous. Of course, that's a, what, $76 move? There's a reason why the options were ridiculous. Crazy move. That'll probably do a retrace and some sort of extension. That'll make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up there. This move should be roughly same size as that move. Wherever it finds a retrace tomorrow or the day after or the day after. If it retraces for a few days, something like this. And it may be even similar size to that. There you go. That's crowd. Anyway, I looked at playing with that one, but I was like, I got better ways to lose money than to put it on crowd. Giga Cloud. There's nothing to mess with at the moment. Needs a retrace, but it can just keep riding this kind of trend, and it's like I don't have a curved arrow, but it's kind of doing this and can drift up into that area right up in there. There's no pullbacks, so to speak, to measure off of so much. You can do a little baby one possibly right there, but it may break down and come back here. So 45, 49 maybe. It's not very good to try to do my methods with. Coin is probably... I'd love to see this retrace at this point. I would really, really, really like it. But, support right down here. And the target up at 270. EU. Target right back down. For support here, if we don't hold it, coming on down. If we turn and burn, $5 and $5. That's so little priced that both targets are $5. So stuff under $10 doesn't typically necessarily follow my price patterns. That only counts for stocks, not for cryptos. This is a dumpster fire. Has a reverse split. Just saying. Dumpster fire criteria right there. DKNG. Double top. Not the most bullish pattern. Lack of continuation may result in a slightly lower high. May result in a deeper retrace. Kind of already completed both these targets here. I can't, for the love of all, I don't seem to be able to click on freaking... I can move a price target without even any effort at all, but I can't seem to freaking delete an oval off the chart. It's the craziest thing. Anyway, there you go. DKNG, that's the likely pattern. We've kind of topped out, it looks like. Lower high. Could it go blasting off? It could. Not the highest likelihood. With all the sports ball stuff kind of wrapping up for the year. We got, basketball left this month? But I don't think there's a ton of sports betting in baseball. It's not like something I always hear about. So it's usually football and some basketball, and then we go into a less active period. Although last year it had a nice summer, and then pulled back into the fall until football season really started. So we could ramp on into summer. Could. Anyway. Nio is a big dumpster fire, heading lower. It's under $10, but whew, that looks like a gnarly chart. Probably heading to at $2 sometime or another. Looks like where we were heading. Probably do a reverse split sometime. Keep heading lower. Big Bear AI. Looks like a dangerous chart to play with. I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch that chart. Anybody's money. That's a lower high than the last time it did something stupid. This is a lower high than the last time it did something stupid. And it'll probably come over here, go back down, go back down, fart around over here and do another one of these stupid little things. Don't play that stuff. PDW. Upside target 81, 86 would be the next upside target. There, and then back to the roadmap line. GLD already covered with GC. Just go rewind the chart. ADBE, knock off a 0. That's how that works. And ADBE looks like we may break down. Got to the target. Watch for the flush. Could go down here. Or we break down below. Down there. We can finally break back up. Come up here. Coin flip in between. TGT covered this morning. Nothing changed from this morning. Watch the morning analysis. Upside target. On target is where we triple topped. Nothing new to add. Good. Target up here. Around 22. Why up there? Because it has this wider wind up here. See it right there? Got 18 and then 22. Whoa, I just skipped a bunch of chat. MSTR. Topped out potentially. I was only looking for the 272 as the super extension. And look at that reaction off that prior high. Whew. Crazy. That crazy mover. That prior high right there. We came up, tagged it. Rectangle. Rectangle, rectangle. Tagged it and a big negative reaction. Imagine that. This one could come all the way back down to the roadmap line. Be careful. That's a long way down from here. That is a long way down. Be careful. I busted through all the upside targets. I'm not long anymore. I don't plan on being long again for a while. Maybe never. I've been 90% on shares. I got in at 500, right at 500, got out what was it? 960, I think it was. 960. 500, 960. My order was 950 and I got filled at 960 on the open. And we went for the extension. Look, I was saying that it was a crazy target, but we could do it. We had done it before. See this move right here, this retrace right here, down to the roadmap line. We came busting up. We went through the 1272. We went through the 1618. We went up to the 272 and almost spiked the 2618, and then came down violently to the roadmap line. That is exactly what just played out once again. There's the retrace to the roadmap line. We came popping up, poked through the 100, poked through the 1272, poked through the one we just gapped on up through the 1618, right up to the 2.272, the 2618, the prior all-time high, and retrace. Watch out. This can and may very well retrace all the way back down to 533. If you're not prepared for that, you need to protect your profit if you have it. If you got in up here, why? That's a simple question. What are you thinking? That is chasing rainbows. Chasing rainbows and unicorns, okay? Don't chase things that are exponential. Highly likely to see a retrace, and it could be a mega retrace. Be careful. Please be careful. I would not. I'm not even considering trading this again for a while. Be careful. CONY. Nothing. It's a derivative of coin. There's no pattern here. Nothing to talk about. Gold. What gold? I already covered GC. FAZ is a decaying asset going to zero. And LRCX is basically topped out from the head and shoulders pattern. Got nothing new to add. I need a retrace, at least that big or bigger. Back to the roadmap line would be preferred. And that's it. There's no additional upside targets for now until we get a retrace. Can it keep going? Sure. I don't have any targets, so AI failed to launch. Got nothing interesting to say at the moment. Potential to go higher, but that doesn't look the best. Especially with that move today. Oof. It looks like it's going to come back to the roadmap line again. Let's see. What did that do? Yeah. Uncertain. No clear. Nothing clear on AI. NVO. Probably coming back down to the bottom of the channel in the next couple of days. Made it to the top of the channel, back to the bottom of the channel. And Roku. Oh. Looks like it may extend to the lower target at 55. Still bearish on SMCI. Who is? You? Me? That's not a complete sentence. SMCI is up there and ridiculous. It's at the fully touched the target. So watch out for the retrace. There's no reason to chase that one long. All it did was prolong the inevitable downside. I mean, have you ever seen? Let's see, I closed it. Yeah, I closed it. Look at this. What is it called? PSY 222. I think I market psychology chart. There we go. There we are. Look at this thing. How many charts have we looked at that are doing this? You just cover up this side over here. Like imagine you cover up for this side. Look. How many charts have we looked at doing that? See what comes next. I'm just telling you. It's a common pattern. The reason it's labeled like this, it's a very common pattern. It happens over and over. It's not exactly the same. We get this euphoria, and then we see this like craziness in the sell-off. Almost everything that does that pattern is going to do the rest of it. Doesn't matter what it is. Look. Could it go higher? Sure. We can go to 1,300, 1,500, 1,700. Eventually, it's coming back down. 2026. Buy those $800 puts for 2026. All right. Moving on. I do the $5. I don't know what that is. What is the app called you using? That's not a complete sentence. This is TradingView if you don't know the platform. It's not an app, it's a web browser. It's a web browser. Anyway. Go to tradingview.com. How about RELX? RELX. No chart. There it is. Nothing. Can't. I mean, that's the same pattern. Look. Do you see the pattern? We just talked about this. Do you see that pattern? It's going to come down again. You see it? I mean, kind of did it right there too. Rewind. Well, the prime example. Look. Look right here. You see it, right? Same pattern. Big retrace. It doesn't come all the way back down necessarily. And that one went up another time and then got lower. Oh, all the way down there. Need to see it again. There it is. There it is again. See that lower high? Back down. Want to see it again? This is the human psychology chart. This is how humans trade the market. All right. I don't necessarily agree that we go all the way back down. 100%. Finding a higher level here happens more often than going completely or even lower. All right. We don't have to go lower. This happens over and over and over. Bitcoin is something that doesn't have something that, look, right there. See it again. Right? You see it there? It was there. 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 What do you think we're doing now? Just doing the pattern. Another one, another time. It's doing that pattern once again. All right. A lot of things do it one time. SMCI may be one of those. They don't have anything special. Dell does exactly what they do, and they do it on a higher volume. What gives SMCI the special juice, the special sauce that makes it so much more valuable than other companies that do the same exact thing? Just be careful. Here's another one. Done it over and over. On the way down. Crazy pop, crazy pop, crazy pop. The ultimate crazy pop was back here. They made a movie about it. This did have a 4x split in here, so these prices are reduced by 4 times. See the pattern again? See the pattern again, a little bit different. And went for a twofer. It's a very common pattern. See it again. Probably coming back down. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. Eventually. All right. Let's be careful out there. All right. Sorry about the diversion. And FTNT. Just stuck in the box. Going nowhere. Gap fill. Resistance. If we get above that, maybe work on something. 92, 105. Right now, stuck in the resistance of the gap down. And SHIB, USD. See the pattern again. See the pattern last time. Did it 1, did it 2. This is an inflationary coin and has no long-term prospects to go above a penny ever. Be careful. Careful chasing rainbows, unicorns. Square. Came up shy of that target. Looks like it may retrace back to the roadmap line. There for now. If we get below that, go lower, and below that, go lower. That is what we have for now. And next up, NVIDIA. We got higher targets. We can go be the biggest company in the world. That seems to be the path we're on right now. Irrationality. 3.06 trillion makes it the biggest company in the world. We're up there around 1250. Other potential resistance on the way, 1,000. This key resistance right here, 870, 880. Another where we tagged, retraced. That's a resistance. Thousands of resistance right up in here. And it would not surprise me to see major resistance at 1250. I'm not going to argue against ridiculous. That's the same pattern. Eventually, it's going to give it up. Like, eventually, that's going to give it up. But it's not nearly as crazy yet. SMCI is like 150, 200% above the roadmap line. This one only 50%. It can keep being crazy for a while. Still got higher levels. We could do something super crazy. 1750. I don't think we're going to. But it can keep being irrational. Way longer than I can have money to keep fighting that one. SMCI, much more dangerous. Much more likely to be done. The percent multiplier, it went up way higher. CLSK, looks like we're coming back to the roadmap line. Back in that zone. Right over here. Hit that 272. Same pattern, smaller, just smaller. Same pattern, smaller. All right. Expect it to retrace back down in here. And actually, I can get the price level a little tighter. Here to here. Come on. Come on. What are we? I wonder what's up there. Oh, I drug my net liquidity up there. That's funny. There we go. we may find support here. All right. It's 12 and then 9 below that. And CEG is topping out, looks like. Same ridiculous pattern. Can go on up to 238. DPZ. My target is down here. Roadmap line, next support. Watch for that. Bigger price pattern wise that I'm not explaining beyond the purview of this would be down to 200. DAL. Well, don't top them in caps. It makes it difficult for me to find them. Let's see. Resistance, triple top. Triple top resistance. Watch out for retrace back to the roadmap line. That's DAL. And right. I gotta clean this one up. It's in the gotta save it zone. If we don't hold this area right there, we set up the likelihood we're going down here. Choppy sideways with lower highs, not good for continued bullish price action on Riot. Riot's probably not going to survive after the next halving. BA still got a downside target at 150. I mean 170. Well, 160, 180, whatever. 170, 160, 150, 150, 160, 170, 180, somewhere in that zone. I've got an alert at 180, an alert at 160, and an arrow that comes down almost to 150. So just working on it. Working on it. How long is it going to take? I don't know. You can take out the June or July. Maybe August, September. Can take a while. Got a big arrow, big oval. Could take a while. Could take longer than I expect it to at this point. But probably going to continue. Your brother can't. So my brother John can't see. He's subscribed and that's all. Well, so sorry for him. All right. JCI. It's just choppy sideways. Garbage. Garbage chart. Garbage chart. You see how long that's been chopping sideways, right? What makes you think it's going to do anything different? Nothing. JLD going down in a blaze of glory. 66 on the downside. INTC is potentially bouncing. Support here at the roadmap line, and 54 on the upside. AAT, I thought I already did that one. Upside at 303, downside at roadmap line. And Barrett Gold. Barrett Gold. Oh, moving the fibs. Potential to go down here, but also the potential to have bottomed. I don't like this chart as much as NEM. It's less clear than NEM. So you made a higher low, higher low, higher low, 3 in a row, but it hasn't been able to make a higher high yet. Not as clean as NEM is. NEM a bit clearer. This is the only touch down here after making that high. ZN1. Bounced up, found resistance. If we can break above that, likely to come up and retest this zone up here. If we can break out, we can look for something higher. Probably don't expect much more than 116.22.5. Cattle, LE1 exclamation point. There you go. DE, John Deere. Target down here, 340. And COHR. Broke out of the range. Can it do an extension? 69, 80 above that. Resistance. TM, Toyota Motors, is busting through the upside target. Next upside target, 264. Up there. TSM. Into the resistance and reject it a little bit. Watch out. If we can get above that, 168. If we cannot, probably back down to 105. NCLH. Lower highs, lower highs. Just choppy sideways. Be careful. TTD. Saw that pattern before. Watch out for retrace down to this area right here. Then what happens? We bounce or do we break down? Artie DeMora. CCJ. Stuck on the roadmap line. Can it bounce? Good question. It doesn't. Lower right there, 36. Does aggressive entry here, conservative entry above here. Targets 54, 57 on the upside. I see. I already did that one. C limited is gap fill. Gap fill resistance. Right there, that consolidation will be resistance to go higher. Looks like we missed the extension on the downside. Still bearish for now. This target never played out. Invalidated. Can't predict anything off of that except potential further downside. That's back to the 618 level. If we hold that, we hold this, and bounce down. We're coming down in this zone down here somewhere. That's SC for you. BITQ is probably going to retrace. That high, that low, that high. The support zone is right there. Watch for it to hold that. And then bounce, or if we break down, come back to the roadmap line. If we get below the roadmap line, come down here. If we bounce, higher targets 15 and 17. If we don't bounce, there you go. And I don't think I did Clorox or Colgate. I mean, TSLA, Colgate. And it didn't break down. Don't always get it right. Managed to double bottom and launch. Golly, that was a long, nasty corrective pattern. Jiminy Christmas. That was the lowest low, just barely. There's nothing to work off of. Wow. Maybe 91. Maybe 98, but there's nothing to project off of. That was gnarly. And already did BBII. BTBT is a crap chart for now. Probably going lower. $1.54. If we get below the low from here. Right below that low from February. $1.54. Bearish. That's not no bueno. Took a good pattern and fudged it right up. Anyway, everybody's favorite to pick on right now. Apple probably going down here to that target I drew. I think I drew it back here in January. Meta. Yeah, just grinding. Upside target right up here. 565. Netflix. Yeah. Upside resistance 680 to 700. And Google pushing lower. Support here at 129, 124 below that. And if we accelerate, we could see further downside. Let's see, MSFT, Mamanet. And watch out for the bigger retrace on Microsoft. Already did NVIDIA, did Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Amazon. Looks like we want to retrace there. Just hovering. Hovering on the extension. This one's odd for big tech. It's still below the all-time high, significantly below. I guess Netflix is too, pretty significantly. NVIDIA already did. Tesla, we already did that one. So that's all the mom and net. Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Apple. What was the other A? Google, yeah. Alphabet. So that's all of mom and net right there. All right. Everybody have a good day. I'll be back first thing in the morning, 9:15, looking at the market movers for the day on the Morning Monster Show. Make sure you're subscribed and give me a like if I said anything that was beneficial. Leave me a comment if you had any key takeaways for today. Got anything you want me to cover in the morning? Anything to think about? I don't do ticker requests in the morning. I only do it during 30 minutes of awesome. So make sure you hit the bell with the notifications so you know when I go live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Have a great day, everybody.